What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more live Aha. Indeed, I've decided to start going through another bootleg folder that I have in my umbrella folder of Aha bootleg performances, rather than doing at the same time as the remaining bonus material on disc 2 of Analog with the bonus tracks on disc 1. I figure we'll just keep doing this tandem of bonus material and a live performance, so that'll allow us to continue to do that as we finish going through the extra materials that I haven't heard on the 20th anniversary edition of Analog for the next several weeks, while I go through song performances from a 2006 concert in Germany. Indeed, this only says Germany. It doesn't say, what city it was in. Maybe these were taken from different performances, but again, a year before the Kiel concert at the very least, or rather, roughly a year before. So yes, and all of the tracks in this folder are just listed alphabetically. They're not listed as, they're not numbered. So in that regard, I'm even more inclined to think that these might be taken from different performances. At the very least, when they were organized and put into the folder, they were not specified chronologically. So I've just decided to pick, one that jumped out to me, and I decided I wanted to hear East of the Sun. So yes, this song, I think it's pretty universally loved among Aha fans. I still remember when I reacted to it, it seemed like the comments and the responses were overwhelmingly super appreciative and positive. And I do remember, I think Shell in particular, maybe more people as well, talked about it having the vibe of like a Western song. I certainly hear that in the Sonics. It also has this sort of artful guitar, poet, storytelling quality to it. So again, I love the variety of Aha's catalog, and I also enjoy the period where they were, again, moving away from, admittedly, the awesome stuff from the 80s, when it was more keyboard and synth and like drum machine driven. And again, I get it that people might have different opinions about like what era of theirs, what style of theirs is the most impactful, but I definitely enjoy their music where, again, they got a bit more like rustic, a bit more natural instrument based, and this song I think is very representative of that. In any case, let's hear them perform East of the Sun live in Germany somewhere. Oh, it does say, in the metadata, it says Berlin. Okay, so yeah, it didn't say that in the overall track title. Give me one moment. Now I'm curious, because I want to check to see if the other ones will say the same thing. Yeah, it says Berlin 06 for this. Yeah, okay, so I guess there it is. They all seem to say Berlin. Okay, so yes, apparently this is a concert in Berlin in 2006, so I guess that's just the way that I'm going to list it. But yes, this is Aha performing East of the Sun in Berlin in 2006.
Thank you, Berlin. Here's a song from our album number 4. I hope you know this one.
Half of a letter tells half the story. The way I see it is half the worry. From where I came from, I've gone too soon. East of the sun and west of the moon. Money talks and hair listening. I live without it, enough to miss it. And where I'm going, I'll get there soon. East of the sun and west of the moon. I'm never gonna give desert road east to the sun and west of the moon. Dankeschön.
So yeah, I remember I was waiting for the Dankeschön as we went through the Kiel concert. But okay, number one, the sound quality here I don't think is like quite as good as a couple of the other bootlegs we've heard, but it's certainly like very serviceable. It doesn't sound bad by any means. And again, just hearing more and more of the live performances, even if the sound quality varies a little bit, I think is very cool. And secondarily, again, thinking of Morton's vocals, the very first line, I actually thought it sounded a little off tone-wise, and there was one of his articulations of the line East of the Sun in the back half of the track that I also think didn't sound as crisp as I've heard him sound before, but generally speaking, I felt like he started mild, nothing crazy, but as the song went along, I thought he got more fluid and expressive in his melodic delivery. And so again, it's one where like the strength of the vocal performance seemed to enhance as the song went along, which is something I've come to very much enjoy, which it's funny because he has, again, a singular voice. There are few, if any, voices like Morton's. And then hearing him sing live so many times, and in fact more on that in a moment, I think I've become hyper sensitive to like slight variations. Surely not as much as many of you who will, not only have been to the concerts to hear him live and, with like actual audio that is, sort of like immersive and so on, rather than, a bootleg recording, but also just having heard their songs and their albums for a longer period of time than I have, will perhaps be even more hyper aware of little variances in his delivery and so on. But again, just like listening to him perform live, the overall consistency, one slight line where there's like a tone that's a bit different than you're expecting, notwithstanding, the consistency of his vocals over time, and especially given the demands of some of the songs when it comes to what is expected of him vocally, it's just so impressive. Now, what I was going to say is, I think I've heard is it 2 live performances? NRK Studios. I know one of them was the NRK Studios, and that's 91. That's like, 15 years before this. And I'm trying to think of what the other one was. I want to say it was also 90s, which obviously much closer to the time of the original recording and appearance of this song. And again, knowing that Morton really gave it his all and put, all the fire and intensity into so many vocal performances from the 90s, it's not surprising that this one might be a bit more restrained, a bit more, what's the right word? Like, not going big or, really pushing it, but I do think the vocal performance here is in a really good place, and I like the way it evolves over the course of the song. I feel like it was maybe like, I don't know, like 1 or 2 beats per minute faster. I'd like that. It's a bit speculative, and I think it's roughly in the same tempo as the studio or album version. But yeah, it felt like that was maybe ever so slightly faster tempo-wise or pace-wise than the album version. It's gonna bother me. I gotta look up to see what the other live performance of this song, like where it was or what year it was. Oh, is it live in Argentina? Okay. So, and that was also 91. So yes, like both other live performances I've heard of this were 15 years earlier. So that is itself an interesting thing to hear a live performance, and not just from the point of view of Morton, but from the point of view of the band, where again, a song performed shortly after it's been released on an album, you'd expect it to be closer than maybe a performance, or closer to the album version than a performance much later, when they might be, trying different sounds. And, I've mentioned the example of Duran Duran before, where like on different tours of theirs, they've really changed some of their songs, where like they'll do a tour where they're more rock sounding, and they'll take some tracks that have a lot of keyboard stuff, and it becomes way more rock oriented, and then on the very next tour they'll play it very differently. So this is closer to the album sound than maybe you would be inclined to expect given the 15-year gap. But still, I suppose, if it isn't broke, don't fix it, is perhaps a principle that applies here, because again, it's a very beautiful tune and one that seemingly is a fan favorite, so in that regard, you probably don't tinker with it too much. Nevertheless, I'm looking forward to going through the other songs in here. Let me see how many there are, because again, they're not numbered. So there are 9 songs, so not like a huge playlist. The other ones in here are Analog, Cozy Prison, Crying in the Rain, Dark is the Night, Keeper of the Flame, Lamb to the Slaughter, Move to Memphis, and You'll Never Get Over Me. So, yeah, those are the ones we have to work with. Again, because they're not listed in any order, and who knows, maybe like there is a particular, I mean, he said at the beginning, "Thank you, Berlin," which you might say when you walk out on stage and people are cheering you, like, thank you for the ovation. But I don't know, maybe also it sounds like something you could say after, like, the regular part of a concert when you're walking out for the encore. So yeah, I really don't know what the order is, but like I said, I may just pick things based on, what song of theirs I want to hear in a given moment in the coming weeks. But obviously, if there is an order and, people out there know it, then maybe we'll, at least for the remaining 8 songs in the folder, we can go through them in order. So just let me know what you think is best, is essentially what I'm struggling towards saying. But from Luca and I, let me know what you think here, and I will see you next time. Peace.